Next, in this question, we're asked to match each organ with the substance it produces and describe the function of that substance. We'll look at 3 key organs, the adrenal gland, pancreas, and liver, and identify their correct pairings. The first one has been done for you. The adrenal gland produces adrenaline, which causes the conversion of glycogen to glucose. Then, the pancreas produces lipase, which is responsible for the chemical digestion of fat, and the liver produces bile, which helps in the emulsification of fats in the small intestine. So in short, adrenaline from the adrenal gland helps control energy release, lipase from the pancreas digests fats, and bile from the liver breaks fats into tiny droplets for easier digestion. Back to MCQs. We're asked which row shows the average daily energy requirement for the people in the table. Now, when we think about energy needs, children need less, teenagers need more, pregnant women need even more for fetal growth, and male manual laborers need the highest because of heavy physical work. So, the correct order from lowest to highest is child to teenage girl to pregnant woman to manual laborer. And the answer for this is B. Next, a lack of certain minerals and vitamins can cause specific symptoms. Out of all these combinations, D looks the best combination, as iron deficiency causes anemia, meaning too few red blood cells, and vitamin D deficiency causes rickets, which leads to deformed bones. So, the correct combination is iron and vitamin D. And the answer for this is D. Next, we have another question. It says, how food is processed in the alimentary canal, so this is about stages of digestion. We know food is broken into smaller pieces, large molecules are broken into small soluble ones, then absorbed into the blood, used by cells, and undigested parts are removed, so we'll check all the options. Absorption is when digested food enters the blood, assimilation is when it's used by cells, and enzyme digestion is when large molecules are broken down. That matches row D, and the answer for this is D. Moving on to the next question, we're asked which function is not carried out by the liver. We know the liver breaks down alcohol, converts glycogen to glucose, and forms urea, but it does not secrete digestive enzymes. That's the pancreas's job, and the answer for this is D. We have a short theory-based question now. We're asked to state the function of a molar tooth. Molar teeth are found at the back of the mouth. They're broad and flat, meant for breaking food into smaller pieces. Their role is to grind and crush food to make it easier to digest. And the answer for this is grinding and crushing food to increase its surface area for digestion. On to the next question. It says the pulp is a living tissue and asks about the movement of molecules in the pulp between the blood capillaries and the cytoplasm of surrounding cells. So here, we'll explain diffusion. Blood in the capillaries is under pressure, the walls are thin, and soluble substances like oxygen and glucose move out into the cells. Meanwhile, waste substances such as carbon dioxide and urea move from the cells into the blood. This all happens by diffusion through partially permeable membranes. And the answer for this is, blood in the capillaries is under pressure, and the capillary walls are thin, allowing soluble substances like oxygen and glucose to diffuse out into the surrounding cells. At the same time, waste products like carbon dioxide and urea move from the cells back into the blood. This exchange happens by diffusion across partially permeable cell membranes. Now the next question is about toothache and dental decay. Toothache is caused by inflammation of the pulp tissue, which happens due to dental decay. The cause is bacteria feeding on sugars from food. They produce acids that corrode the enamel and dentine, and eventually reach the pulp, causing pain and inflammation. Prevention includes brushing with fluoride toothpaste, avoiding sugary foods, flossing or using mouthwash, and going for regular dental checkups. And the answer for this is, dental decay is caused by bacteria in the mouth that feed on sugar from food. These bacteria produce acid, which corrodes the enamel and dentine, eventually reaching the pulp and causing inflammation. To prevent decay, a person should brush their teeth regularly with fluoride toothpaste, avoid sugary foods, floss or use mouthwash, and visit the dentist regularly. We have a question here now, and it tells us to describe and explain how food is moved between the 2 points, T and U, labeled on the diagram. This question is all about how food moves through the small intestine, and the process we're describing is called peristalsis. The movement happens because of muscles in the intestinal wall that work as antagonistic pairs, circular and longitudinal muscles. Circular muscles contract behind the food at point T and relax in front at point U. Meanwhile, longitudinal muscles do the opposite, they relax behind and contract in front. Together, this creates a wave-like squeezing motion that pushes the food forward along the intestine. Mucus lining the wall helps reduce friction and allows the food to move smoothly. And the answer for this is, food is moved from point T to point U by peristalsis, a wave-like muscle contraction in the wall of the small intestine. Circular muscles contract behind the food at point T and relax in front at point U, while longitudinal muscles relax behind and contract in front. This pushes the food forward. The muscles work antagonistically to create this squeezing motion, and mucus helps reduce friction to ease movement. On to the next question, it tells us to state, for a normal healthy movement of food through the small intestine, one necessary component of a balanced diet, one food that is a good source of this component, and one effect of malnutrition resulting from a lack of this component. This part is all about fiber, which is essential for keeping the digestive system working properly. The component we name is fiber, the food source can be brown bread, and the effect of not having enough is constipation, or in long-term cases, more serious bowel diseases like colon cancer. Again, we've got an MCQ here, and the question says, which row shows the disease is caused by lack of different nutrients in the diet? This one is testing our understanding of what happens when key nutrients are missing from the diet. Iron deficiency leads to anemia, vitamin C deficiency causes scurvy, and vitamin D deficiency causes rickets. So when we line that up, the correct sequence is anemia, scurvy, and rickets. And the answer for this is D, anemia, scurvy, rickets. On to the next question now. It says, what is an example of assimilation? To answer this, we recall that assimilation is when absorbed nutrients are actually used by cells to build new tissues or molecules. So the process that matches that is when proteins are built from amino acids. And the answer for this is C, building of proteins from amino acids. Now moving to the next one, the question says, sometimes gallbladders become infected and have to be surgically removed. How will this affect the functioning of the body? The gallbladder's main job is to store bile, which helps in breaking down fats into smaller droplets for digestion. When it's removed, bile is still produced by the liver but isn't stored anymore, so fat digestion becomes less efficient and that reduces the amount of glycerol absorbed. And the answer for this is C. Reduce the amount of glycerol absorbed from the alimentary canal. Next question is, what is an example of assimilation? So, it is about the process of assimilation, which means using absorbed nutrients to build new materials inside body cells. Assimilation is the process after absorption. It's when the nutrients become part of the cell structure or are used for growth and repair. We've got 4 options here, and after carefully looking at them, the correct answer is option C, building of proteins from amino acids. Because assimilation is the process where the absorbed nutrients are used by the cells to build new materials, like making proteins for growth and repair. With that, we have completed our chapter 8 along with past paper practice. You can find it in the description and comments. Stay tuned, I'll be back with the next chapter soon.